What if I told you one of the largest empires in history was in Africa? Not just large, but powerful, organized, and incredibly wealthy, stretching across thousands of kilometers, controlling trade, wealth, knowledge, and shaped the global economy. And yet, most people have never even heard its name. This was the Songhai Empire, an empire so powerful, it rivaled the greatest civilizations of its time. So why don't we talk about it? Let's go back to West Africa in the 15th century. After the decline of the Mali Empire, a new power began to rise along the Niger River. The Songhai Empire didn't just appear overnight, it grew from a kingdom into a dominant force, eventually becoming one of the largest empires in African history. At its peak, it stretched across modern-day Mali, Niger, Nigeria, and beyond. But this wasn't just about size, it was about control. The Songhai Empire dominated key trade routes across the Sahara Desert routes that connected Africa to North Africa, the Middle East, and beyond. Gold from the south, salt from the Sahara, goods flowing across the desert and beyond. And where there's trade, there's wealth. Cities like Timbuktu and Gao became major centers of commerce and learning. Timbuktu, in particular, was one of the most famous cities in the world at the time. It wasn't just wealthy, it was intellectual. Scholars, traders, and travelers gathered there to study subjects like astronomy, mathematics, and law. Thousands of manuscripts were written and preserved, some of which still exist today. This was an empire built not just on power, but on ideas. And then came one of its greatest rulers, Askia the Great. Under his leadership, the empire became more than powerful and expanded even further. He reformed the government, strengthened the military, and organized the economy. Taxes were structured, officials were appointed, order was established. He even made a famous pilgrimage to Mecca, strengthening diplomatic and religious ties across regions. They even had a navy patrolling the Niger River. This wasn't a loose collection of lands, this was a system, a functioning empire, a global player. But even the greatest empires can fall. Despite its size and power, the Songhai Empire had one critical weakness. It was too big. Managing such a vast territory wasn't easy. Internal divisions began to grow. Control weakened in distant regions. And then came an unexpected threat from the North Morocco, armed with something the Songhai Empire didn't fully have: gunpowder weapons. In 1591, Moroccan forces launched an invasion. Despite their size and strength, the Songhai army was not prepared for this kind of warfare. Traditional weapons met gunpowder, and the result changed everything. The empire began to collapse. Cities fell, systems broke down, and one of the greatest empires in African history faded. What was once one of the largest empires in the world fragmented and slowly disappeared from global focus. But here's what most people miss. The Songhai Empire didn't disappear because it was weak. It fell because the world was changing. Technology shifted the balance of power, and like many empires in history, it faced a challenge it couldn't adapt to in time. But its legacy, still powerful. It showed that Africa wasn't just part of history, it was shaping it through trade, through knowledge, through leadership. So the next time someone talks about the greatest empires in history, ask yourself, why isn't Songhai on that list? Because sometimes history isn't just about what happened, it's about what gets remembered.